Who knows, maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
This rally globally has been interrupted somewhat rudely by the Bank of Japan. What is it that's interrupting this specifically? What are investors focused on?
Yeah, well, apart from the fact that, we've got this big long run and maybe it's time for a pause, the BOJ did throw a little bit of a spanner in the works with two interesting shifts in the way that it's doing its policy. First of all, it said that it's going to start selling some of the ETFs that it acquired during its QE phase. Not huge enough on its own for it to have a big market impact, but it's more that signaling effect that's important here. The idea that it wants to tighten policy, wants to, do a little bit more QT. And so that gave the equity market something of a setback. The market is at a record high. Suddenly here there were a couple of dissents. The BOJ did hold its policy rate, but a couple of dissents who said, why don't we get on with hikes now? We want to raise interest rates. We don't want to wait any longer. We could do it. Japan has some elections coming up, and that's going to be a little bit of a distraction. And maybe they were thinking, let's get it done beforehand. The economy is strong enough to take this now. And that tips you to the idea that the BOJ is more likely to hike interest rates this year than next year. Again, negative for the equities market.
SEC actively looking into a proposal by President Trump to switch earnings reports from a quarterly to semi-annual basis. Joining us right now, first on CNBC, to discuss this and so many other issues, is SEC Chairman Paul Atkins. Mr. Chairman, we appreciate you joining us. It is the issue of the week, if not much longer than that. A lot of CEOs in America.
So this is, welcome that posting by the president, and have talked to him about it. And so you have to realize that right now, semi-annual reporting is no stranger to our markets. Our foreign private issuers do it right now, and it was actually the rule until 1970 when the SEC promulgated the whole concept of 10Qs. Have heard anecdotally throughout my life about folks in the private with private firms and whatnot negotiating with public firms, and they say it's a great time to do it right before the end of a quarter or the end of the year, so because they can get better deals for themselves. So I think that for the sake of shareholders in public companies, the market can decide what the proper cadence is. But in principle, I think to propose change in what our rules are now, I think would be a good way forward. And then we'll consider that and move forward after that. So I welcome the president's putting this
Chair,
for
speak
discussion.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we know Japan owns a lot of U.S. debt. And when Japan makes that move to raise rates, we know it's going to send a rumble, not just in the U.S., but the global economy. And that's the reason why their rate hikes are tied with the Fed. Don't forget, Japan is turning to the machines due to aging population. Guys, remember this is a plan and moves in phases. I played the video plenty of times. We brought the Japan leaders to San Francisco to plan out the fourth industrial revolution. The robots, algorithms, and drones, and he says it right out of his mouth. So you heard out the horse's mouth. It's just what you want to do with the information. But the Crypto Teacher gives you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And you hate me because I give you the truth. But guys, remember, I'm just a watchman on the wall. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Paul Atkins backing Trump 100%, ready to move on that proposal for earnings getting reported every 6 months. And remember, guys, with this economy, earnings are going to start declining before these machines take over. Remember, they cause the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. The solution is all this automation, AI, robots, algorithms, and drones. But first, they have to have an excuse to lay off all the masses. Remember, we're in a fragmented world. Every sector of this economy we see is being broken up so automation can take over. And then we have the Senate fails to pass bill to keep the government open. And we already know this is drama. And we get our popcorn, sit back and let it play out. But we know eventually the government is going to be shutting down because we know we're moving over to a new financial system. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then we have Xi and Trump talk today. And we know the two are going in separate directions. The U.S. is going one way and China is going another, and eventually they're going to collide. But we have Xi back in Venezuela, and we know for a fact they're back in Russia. And again, eventually they're going to collide. And we're going to see the rise of the BRICS nations, the emerging markets, and the fall of America to Babylon. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Well, yes, the Senate has now voted on that stopgap that passed the House, but it has failed to get the number of votes needed in the Senate. It was only 44 senators who voted for it to 60. And so now it's really an open question of what comes next. Again, a shutdown is headed for the end of the month. Lawmakers are out next week. And we just got a notice that the House that was supposed to come back on the 29th and the 30th, they're now not planning to be back until October. They're trying to jam the Senate to take up what the House passed, but at this point, the votes don't seem to be there. So we're on track for our shutdown. There is still time left, but it's just not clear what the path forward is.
Well, the relationship between China and Russia is as tight as ever. And although it is, I guess, theoretically possible for the United States to separate China and Russia, it is almost impossible, considering that Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping see the world in the same terms, and they identify the same adversary and enemy, which is us. And we are seeing increased Chinese support for the war effort in Ukraine.
Bringing it closer to home, China is now warning the United States against, quote, bullying Venezuela. China's pledged support for Venezuela after President Trump carried out military strikes on the ships about China's influence, not just in Venezuela, but elsewhere in our hemisphere.
China is more influential in Latin America and in the Caribbean than we are. And that is a testament basically to American presidents ignoring the region. Now, President Trump has clearly indicated that that's going to change. We're going to see this probably with the new national defense strategy.
The capacity for investors to bring back money into the EMD space, we think is very substantial. It's been an under-owned asset class for a number of years. And again, given the backdrop on the outlook for still relatively moderate growth, emerging markets growing at stronger rates, better fundamental dynamics, better debt fiscal dynamics.
And the NEMD ETF was launched in August. Since then, it has actually underperformed the broader market.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity, and if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming, while everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks, and while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.